All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting a good fight of faith in truth and sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom to the Akwath, which is the women believers. Shalom to you. This should be a very quick video. This scripture says a mouthful, and you really need to understand what the scripture is saying. See, we get tested in life every day. But see, this test is really going to test your integrity. This test right here is going to test your faith. And depending on what you do, is either going to be salvation for you or judgment to you. So it says, because you has kept the word of my patience. That's very, very important. I've heard and also seen since the time I've been in the truth, people fall out because they lost patience. You know, the cares of this world choke the truth from them. You know, and then also that's where they was appointed. So you're dealing with Yahweh, man. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. This is a power who he do what he want to do, and he do everything in righteousness. See, he the one that created the spirits. So you might look at it and be like, oh, that's unfair. It ain't unfair. He created that spirit. He know that that spirit is a piece of shit. So keeping the word of my patience. Oh, and going back to he know that that spirit's a piece of shit. You have to have piece of shit spirits in the world. That's the balance of the Lord. You can't understand anything without an opposite. You can't understand righteousness without wickedness. You can't understand mercy without any affliction. All right. But going back to because you have kept the word of my patience, and that's what we're doing right now. That's faith. You know, but the day is approaching where your faith is going to have to be put on the forefront. Your faith is like right now. It's not that you don't have faith. But the Lord said this. Oops. I think it's 49:6. So it said, now saith Yahweh that formed me from the womb to be his servant. I mean, you was born to be a prophet and to bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered yet, shall I be glorious in the eyes of Yahweh. My power should be a strength. And he said, it is a light thing. He said, it is a light thing that you shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserve of Israel. I will also give you for a light unto the Gentiles, that you may be my salvation to the ends of the earth. So just sticking to the point for this video could be quick. It's a lot of breaking down in scripture. You might see Gentiles and be like, see, let's talk about the other nations. No. Didn't the scripture say that we was going to lose our heritage? So when you lose your heritage and you go into the way of the heathen, you become a Gentile. All right. But the Lord said there's a light thing. So going back, you know, it's a light thing what we're doing right now. Really, the only thing that you have to deal with, because if you really have faith in the Lord, you know the scriptures too. The scripture said that the angel of the Lord encamp around those that fear him. So when we go out there with that mindset. Yeah, we out there making our body a living sacrifice. Death stares us in the face every time you go out there to preach. You have demons. You have people who scoff. You have people who don't believe what you believe, and they actually get offensive to them, you know? So right now we are rehearsing the righteous acts. We're rehearsing faith. But what's going to happen when that faith is really going to be tested? Can you imagine going into a store and there's no food there? And then if you got a family, you got a wife and kids. I think about this shit, man. That's why I'm grateful that the Lord said, my servant shall eat, my servant shall drink. But right now, we are the hopeful elect. We are prisoners of hope. We hoping that our works, manifest into the Lord delivering us. Because it's all about enduring to the end. But here's the thing. Within the end, you can actually be faint-hearted. It could be too hard for you. You could succumb to whatever the devil present. That's why I said, because you have kept the word of my patience. Because you have kept the word of my patience. Listen, this scripture is talking about the end. This is talking about all the way through, not all the way till trouble strikes and then you fall to the wayside. Your patience don't matter then. This is talking about all the way through. So it said, I will also keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So everybody, Jacob's trouble is everybody's trouble, but the focal point of the trouble is the Israelites. Because Esau, Edom, the elite of the so-called white people know who we are, they know who they are, and they feel like if they can erase Israelites from being off the planet Earth, that they can get their blessing by default. You got to understand the magnitude of what you're in. And the devil, see, the beautiful thing about the devil, he's controlled, because he would have been killed us. The Lord said that in Jeremiah 10:23, said, I know that it's not in man to direct his own steps. Also, Proverbs 24:20 said, wow, how the hell I don't know that scripture? Maybe the Lord want me to get it. Oh, a man's goings is of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? A man's goings is of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? Because I always think about this too, right? I think I mentioned this on a couple of videos ago. All the United States had to do is bomb Russia right now, and it'll be over with. Like, I think about that all the time. All these nations, everybody got the nuclear missiles. All they got to do is press the button and it'll be over with. What do you think is making them not press the button? Because the Lord said it ain't time yet. All right. But going back to the scripture, right? Jacob's trouble, the famine. Matter of fact, let me give you a little glimpse through a scripture of what Jacob's trouble is going to be. It says Jacob is scattered into all nations. This is why it's going to be the world's trouble. So it said, behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, and your spoil should be divided in the midst of ye. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. All right. So the time that we're headed into is that all these nations which hate us, you can read Psalms 83 for that, they're going to come against us. All right. Not the ones who teach only. If you were Israelite in their eyes, it could be a damn tear. You gonna get it. If you look like a so-called Negro or Latino or Native American, you go get it, because Esau carnal. He be like, hey, that look like a black man. Get his ass. All right. So the Lord is the one that's causing this. He said, for I would gather all nations against Jerusalem. Because guess what? The Lord is the one. He want that to happen. For that when he do bring his judgment upon the nations, you can't say it's unfair. You can't say I don't deserve it. All right. The Lord, he the one that's mustering the battle. Mustering means to cause, to bring together. All right. He's going to do that in World War III. He also going to do that against his own people. All right. When you read down in this chapter, it talks about the Lord coming back and fighting on our behalf. All right. But in the first three scriptures, which I want to paint a picture of Jacob's trouble. So it says, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the house rifled, and the women ravished, which means raped. All right. Hopefully you don't get strike. All right. So women, they'll get their goods took. You want to walk around here half naked. You want to go get plastic surgery on your bodies. You want to have OnlyFans. You want to not, because I think about this too. I ain't on social media, haven't been on there in a few years, but I know one time I went into a girl's inbox being a simp, expressing my feelings. Girl ain't even read my shit. So all the men that you leave on read, you know what I'm saying? So, the point is that this is what Jacob's trouble is. All nations going to be against you. You are public enemy number one, Israelites. All right. Don't matter if you don't teach or not. So it said your house is going to be rifled, which means it's going to be plundered, which means that your house is going to be broken into. Your goods, if you got any goods, your goods is going to be taken by the ones who's plundering the house. It said women ravish. Half of the city should go forth into captivity. That's why you got all these concentration camps. And then it said, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. All right. Because the elect is going to be preserved. Some of us is going to be grabbed up, get beheaded, because that's in the scriptures, Revelation 20 and 4. And then you have some that's going to not taste death, Matthew 16 and 28. Some of us shall not taste death. All right. And it said, then shall Yahweh go forth as a fight and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. But the thing is that the only ones he's going to be fighting for is the elect. All right. He's not fighting for all the nation. He did that in Egypt the first time. In the spiritual Egypt today, hell no. That's why he had to kill off that generation. There was nothing but murmuring and talking about, you could have just left us in Egypt. You want to have us out here. We thirsty. This man just freaking delivered you with a chariot right in front of your face, parted the Red Sea, made water come out of a rock. He did a whole bunch of miracles, the things that we wish that we could see right now. And you had niggas talking shit. All right. So the Lord said, you know what? I ain't saving all of Israel this time. I'm only saving the elect. So like I said, I ain't want this video to be too long, but I just try to. So this is what's going to happen. The hour of temptation will come upon all the world. Also, the Lord said this. Look at the magnitude. I think I just uploaded that video last night. Understanding the magnitude of what you read. So it said, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. When you read history, when you heard about history, because you know a lot of people don't read, you heard about wars, famines, thousands of people, deaths, bombs being dropped. The Lord said it's going to be worse than that, because all these things going to be happening at the same time. All right. You heard about diseases, taking out a whole bunch of people. It's going to be worse than that. And it says, except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. That should scare you. You should be like, you know what? I want to see what I can do to escape these times. But guess what people is doing? Talking about the playoffs. I'm a big boxing MMA fan. People talking about the Errol Spencer Terrence Crawford fight. I'm very happy about that fight, but that's not on my mind 24/7. So people don't have their mind in the right place. So when you go to 2 Peter 3 and 10, and I'm gonna end it on that. Matter of fact, let me just read it since I'm gonna end it on it. Just get straight to the point. So it said, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. A lot of people is going to get caught off guard because you choose not to listen to the prophets because you don't like the way they look. You don't like the way they talk. They might not look groomed because we keep the law to the best of our abilities. We ain't out there with a suit and tie. We ain't out there speaking big words to try to sound more intelligent, so you look at us like, shut up. So that day is going to come at you as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with great noise. That is the conclusion of the matter. This place is going to be pelted with missiles. And you're going to be in it if you're not part of the elect. Because the Lord said, come up hither, Revelation 11 to 12. That's the ones he's going to deliver, the remnant. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also and the works that therein shall be burnt up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of men you ought to be in all holy conversation and godliness. I think my son is up crying. But anyways, so hopefully this video is edifying. And yeah, that's the type of conversation you should be in. You should be meditating on this. Hopefully this video is edifying, and shalom.